Canada's annual inflation rate ticked back up in January to 1.9%. Statistics Canada says relief in prices from the federal government's temporary tax break was offset by prices at the pump, rising 8.6% last month compared with a year ago. Concordia University's Dr. Moshe Lander joined us for more on the inflation figures.
If we go back to before COVID and look at the monthly inflation numbers for about 30 years, you'll see that they went up and down around 2%. Just some months they would jump up to 2.5, even up to 3. Some months they would fall to 1.5 or even down to 1. That's what happens. So the reason why the Bank of Canada says that they want inflation between 1 and 3 is because it's impossible to pin it down to one specific number and hold it there. Even if you were to introduce price controls, which this government would never do because it brought down the previous Trudeau and his government when they tried to introduce price controls, it's just still not going to be possible to hold it to one specific number. So, I'm kind of hoping that going forward, we're going to see a little less obsession on whether the inflation number is a little bit higher, a little bit lower. We didn't care about this before COVID because we just knew that it was going to come in between 1 and 3%. So with the number a little bit higher right now, okay, it's still within the 1 to 3%. It's very close to 2. If we start stripping out some things and including other things, and if we stand on our head and turn our head to a 45-degree angle, we can get this picture. It's great, but we're parsing the numbers at this point. And so I almost think that it's kind of distracting from the main economic issues right now. And inflation, unfortunately, is not one of them, right? It's the tariffs, it's trade policy, it's interprovincial trade barriers. It's a recession that, if we're not already in one, is certainly coming in 2025. So I don't think that these numbers are anything to worry about. The tax holiday probably held things down. Energy prices probably held it up. But hey, this is a typical Canadian winter that I think a lot of us have experienced in the last couple of weeks. And so for those people worried about climate change, it's still very real. But this is a reminder every once in a while of what things looked like before it got out of control. Look, everybody's reaching for the thermostat right now. It is going to drive energy prices higher. C'est la vie, as they say in Montreal.